All right, welcome everybody. I'd like to call to order the Energy Awareness Commission on Tuesday, September 14th, 2021 at 5 p.m. to order. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the May 11th, 2021 meeting. Any comments or questions on those? Did see, I don't know if we need to correct it as far as people who were present. I don't think Lonnie was present. I don't know if that's something we need to fix.
Was he on there?
Yeah, it says present, it has me and then Lonnie.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's still on there as he's not on the commission any longer. I brought something up to City Hall regarding that, and they gave me a reason to why his name is still on there. But I'll get that removed from the minutes.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know if that was something we needed to change or not.
Yep.
So.
Aside from that note, I move that we approve the May 11th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and second to approve the Energy Awareness meeting minutes from Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Oops, I switched screens here. All right. Next item on the agenda is reports from officers, boards, and commissions. Looks like we have our CIP balance sheets. Derek?
Attached are 3 items. They're balance sheets from the last 3 months, starting from, what do we have here? June all the way to August. I had just a snapshot of the rebate totals. June we rebated back to customers $13,000. July $36,687, and in August $13,411. And the total remaining budget at the end of August was $160,242. And then the attachments of the balance sheets and the accounts with the CIP Conservation Improvement Program. As I stated, you can see the month-to-date and MTD activity month-to-date. So each of those months, that's what was rebated back, and it gives a YTD year-to-date activity for each of those corresponding months. So I put the last 3 months because that's how long it's been since we've met, and then you can also see how it's just kind of progressing. Not much change from month to month, other than there was some more high efficiency lighting that was rebated in July, which is why there was more rebated back, obviously. And it seems like this is a hard time of year to grasp, where we're going to be at the end of the year with $160,000. That's quite a bit of money that's still left in all the accounts. But we'll be spending some money here shortly with a few more newsletters that are going to go out. We conducted an audit at a local industrial facility, so we'll be getting that bill. We paid for an audit for that industrial customer, so we'll be getting that information back and the bill, along with Public Power Week coming up in the first full week of October, and some other things associated with that. So we also have a program that was approved that I wrote an email about. We did a similar program a few years back, Saving Watts and Drops. It's similar, but we're working with clean energy resource teams again to do something at the local manufactured home facility. So we have some things that are going to kind of take a chunk out of this overall budget. Any questions regarding any?
Derek, do you think, would it make sense? I don't know how much the holiday LED lighting has been, how popular it's been the last few years, but would it make sense to maybe put a little more money towards that this year if it looks like we're going to have money left? Or
well, it has its own account, and I think it was $2,000, or is it $1,000?
I think
$1,000. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's been lately. I mean, with
Okay.
people for the past X amount of years switching those over each year, kind of you get less and less.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, a couple of years ago, I used funds from the prior year to rebate for LED lights. But yeah, that time of year, which is starting up quick, we'll rebating for the holiday lighting. If that gets used up more quickly than expected, you know, definitely can transfer funds to that account. And I think with this audit that we did at an industrial customer's location, that could come up with some things that they could be doing this year, if not next year. And we also have a new commercial customer that's on the north end of town, Quick Trip's new gas station. There's a lot of potential savings there, which could be a huge rebate and would take actually a huge chunk out of this. So,
Okay.
yep.
Question? Derek, I noticed in the July report, the high efficiency light rebate seems significant. Any idea what might have caused that high rebate? The $24,195?
I think there was a few. Every once in a while, I'll get a handful together all at once. I can get back to you on what, I don't recall off the top of my head which, if it wasn't a single entity. It was a handful of them that happened to come in.
Derek, this industrial customer that you're talking about, did they come to you or did you approach them?
Well, I'm starting a key accounts program for key accounts within the utility, and this is a customer that I've kind of been dealing with a lot lately, and I'm trying to be proactive as a utility for our large key accounts, and so this is something that I offered to them to try to get them to be a little more informed of their facility and promote the rebates.
I will make the motion to approve the CIP balance sheets.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the CIP balance sheets. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under new business then, we have item 4.1, GreenStep's Best Practice 1.1. Did I miss something here? I did, sorry, let's go back up. The electric utility infrastructure CIP data, item 2.2.
Switching screens, bear with me 1 second.
Carry over.
So this is regarding actually the item following this.
Okay,
So this has to do with our state reporting to the Department of Commerce. So last year for the 2020 rebates, the utility was eligible to use some internal projects, and one was an internal infrastructure work that was done, and use that towards savings for our conservation improvement program reporting. So utilities are eligible to use infrastructure as a means of CIP savings if a utility achieves at least 1% of the captured savings from customers. So we have our state mandated 1.5% savings and spending that we need to achieve. So as long as the utility gets to 1% of that 1.5%, we can then use any sort of internal projects that are energy, catered energy efficiency to try to reach that 1.5% savings. So what you'll see in the next agenda item is the report. And within there are technically 3 reports. The first one would be showing you what would be accomplished without this, and then the next one is what we actually submitted. So what we actually achieved just with residential and commercial programs was, I believe, 1.05%. So we exceeded that 1% savings. So we were able to use internal work to get to our 1.5%. So what this is showing you and telling you that what we actually received from our internal projects was quite a lot. Let's see. I don't recall. I think somewhere actually there's a spreadsheet on possibly what at the end of this. There's an Excel spreadsheet in a PDF form. We actually achieved. So what our goal was for kilowatt savings in 2020 was 2,556,702 kilowatt hours. What we total achieved was 24,131,355 kilowatt hours. So what I did was we used the technical reference manual and equations within that, which are from the Department of Commerce, on a few things. One was an AC unit that was installed in a substation, super minute. LED lights, which are pretty good because electrical department budgets X amount of dollars and schedules X amount of lights yearly. So we were able to use that. 90% of this is due to our transmission line correction and poles that we replaced this last year in 2020 across the river. So we come in, I guess it would be 19th North on the west side of Fritchie Creek, if anyone knows where that is. It comes off of the bottom road across the Minnesota River to about 19th North in town, and then that's where that comes in. So we fix that, and then pulls down the bike trail as well. So that was a lot of capacity. The lines were changed and some other material on those poles, and that's where a lot of the savings came from. So I submitted that. Department of Commerce approved it, and they found that we had 21,572,653 kilowatt hours to use over the next 5 years. So we just need to make sure we achieve that 1% from our customers, and we can use this excess, what's called a carryover, in the following years.
In the following years?
I think it's up to
We don't have
5.
to use them all in 1 year?
Up to 5 years. So we'll have this for 5 years, yep. Which should help us, the last few years, which I think there might be a different sheet somewhere on the next agenda item, showing kind of where we've been at. We've been getting close to that. We've been just over 1, or we've been at like 0.9 some percent. So that'll help us achieve that 1.5%, because in years past, we've done a lot with the programs to try to achieve, a better savings. So any questions regarding this? It's more informative than anything.
So to make sure I'm following you, Derek, that excess shortfall, that was that 21,572 number on the right side of.
That's the excess, yep. So, and then there's other years, obviously on, reporting year, and there's lots of zeros and what utility actually achieved, and then like what you just said, excess shortfall. The negative numbers are what we were short of.
Yeah.
We need that many millions of kilowatt hours to achieve that 1.5% savings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this, I didn't make this graph, so this is directly from the Department of Commerce, so it's kind of our proof.
Amy, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to receive an oral order file the EUI CIP carryover data.
Second?
Have a motion and second to receive and order filed the EUI CIP carryover data. Any other questions or discussion? Right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Motion carries. Item 2.3, Minnesota Department of Commerce Conservation Improvement Program Report. This is the one I think Derek was referring to a bit ago.
Yep, that's correct. So the next attachments are what we kind of discussed about. We can go through them a little bit more in depth if you wish. The first one is an elective, what I would have reported to the Department of Commerce on the electric programs. The first page is just a summary of kind of, where the state statutes are and what they talk about. Page 2 is, in the blue is the goal. So what I just mentioned, we needed 2.56 million kilowatt hours was the goal to try to get savings from. What we actually achieved through our programs was just over that 1% of 1.79 million kilowatt hours. Okay. And below that is the spending. So the first one is the energy savings captured. Below it is money spent. So that's also 1.5%. The blue is what we needed. They want us to try to achieve. The red is what we spent. So we're doing a good job spending our money. And a lot of that does vary to getting people to submit rebates, and even more importantly, the correct, not only information, but the correct products at times. If that happened, then we'd be even closer. If not, then we may even exceed that. Below that, on page 3, is the low-income spending, which I think I say every year seems inflated because we do spend the money. We do spend at least, this 12,694, but then they account for the percentage of the county's population that's in that low-income level is also included. So it's a little inflated, but they allow us to use that data. Page 4 is optional things. If we want to, we can spend money towards this, such as load management programs, research and development, and pretty much distributed resource energy and whatnot. So those are kind of our caps or minimums that we can spend if we so choose to. And then below would be kind of a summary of what the Department of Commerce, if they approved it or not. But we did not submit this, so we can actually scroll to the actual one, which is after this PDF. I think on the PDF, if you're on it, would be like 25 on top out of 75. But this is where it shows what we actually captured for energy savings, which was the 14.11%, which was 24,139,355 kilowatt hours. So we met that goal, but that really didn't change anything else, because we cannot account for what we paid for those things that we've done internally. We can only use the energy captured from those projects. So money spent, we are not allowed to use for spending or rebating ourselves as a utility. Nothing else changed. The spending is the same. Low income's the same. And then on the bottom of page 4 and into page 5 is kind of what they look at. If you got your savings, spending, low income spending, and everything else, as long as it says yes, we're good to go. Spending we didn't capture, but like I mentioned, it's all dependent on how many rebates we receive. And then the last part is the 2022 plan, which in theory, the way I have it laid out, we should be able to meet that goal. And then lastly would be the gas. And it's the same concept of energy savings, money spent. This one is always a difficult one. Not last year, but the year 2019, I think we spent 200% more than what were required. We had a little bit more savings that year because we spent more money, but we only have around $30-some thousand to try to capture 1.5% of the savings. So it's a difficult to capture without spending excess amounts of money, which is shown in the planned gas programs on page 5. The savings goal is 15,285 MCF, and in order to capture that, we would need to spend $166,966.
Wow.
When really, what we need to take out is 31,187. So now you kind of maybe understand a little bit more of what I'm getting at. Any questions regarding the reports that have been sent to the state?
Let's see, I missed why the draft article is part of this report.
Why these, why,
Why it's in the report, that the draft copies?
that's just how they're printed off until I actually, they're a draft until I hit the submit button.
Oh,
So this is exactly what it's going to look like if I'm going to send it to the Department of Commerce. It's just stating draft, letting me know that it hasn't been submitted yet.
yeah.
Additionally, it lets you know in case you did some wrong calculations, say for your next year's planning, you can go back and correct it and then do a draft and look at how their software generates that information on the sheet, showing that yes, you meet the spending and yes, your plan meets the energy savings.
Okay. So I move that we receive and order file the yearly conservation improvement program dated September 14th.
Second.
I have a motion and second to receive and order file the yearly conservation improvement program report. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now under new business, item 4.1, the GreenStep best practice 1.1.
So this is to approve, these pretty much all going forward are actions that have already been done within the city or the PUC. This would be for GreenStep City Best Practice 1.1, which if you happen to have that Excel spreadsheet that we've looked at before, it would be best practice number 1. Point 1 would be, the number 1 right under that best practice. So if it says 12.5, it'd be best practice 12, and then the number 5 underneath it. So this is for 1.1, and that is to enter update building information into the Minnesota B3 benchmarking database and routinely enter monthly usage data for all city-owned buildings, infrastructure that consume energy, water. So below the action item, so that's the action that we've done. And what I have here under the overview is actually kind of a copy and paste of what's actually on the GreenStep Cities website. Their overview, so there's a section where you pick the overview and you'd be picking a best practice. Implementation detail is what I wrote in and what I will submit if you approve this. And date action report, first entered, date action, last report update. That's all data I'm going to put in once I submit it. And then anything that follows this in a PDF format is what's going to be submitted along with this explanation of the best practice. So the implementation details what I wrote and what we're going to send to them. The city of New Ulm has data entered for 16 buildings. Data on sites was initially entered in 2011 and was updated beginning in 2020 onward. Data is entered at a minimum of 4 times a year to keep data current. Data entered for various city-owned buildings ranges from electricity, natural gas, water, and steam. MNB3 benchmarking database has been used to show others of past energy efficiency endeavors and how those actions helped correct energy misuse and reduce consumption. Reports gathered from MNB3 benchmarking database will be sent to department heads and utilized by our Energy Awareness Commission for thoughts and recommendations within city PUC buildings. Data will likely be used to advertise to community members on energy savings accomplishments by the city PUC in newsletters and other means. Example, home and health shows. Additionally, within MNB3 benchmarking database, it found 2 buildings with great opportunity for improvement. Energy audits will be scheduled for these locations to reduce electric and natural gas consumption. So below this are generated after I entered data, and there's a handful, there may even be all of them. City of New Ulm, which is I think an overall of all the buildings that are entered into the database. And preceding that, Broadway House, Chamber of Commerce, which someone had put that in there initially, but I haven't done anything with the chamber as they're not technically a city-owned building. City Hall, Civic Center, our electric distribution shed, Kiesling House, Fire Department, Library. So as you can see, entering this data in, this is one screen where you can capture and trend different usages, and this is the type of information you could work with these building owners on issues regarding energy efficiency. Wastewater is really bad just because it needs to be broken out much more. They have so many meters there. The system likes to try to combine things, and it's not very accurate. But so this information will be submitted, if you approve it, to the Minnesota GreenStep City as an action that we want to get credit for, an acknowledgement for. Questions?
So then those 2 buildings are the ones that it sounds like you were gonna try to get scheduled for the audit and that? Is
Yeah,
that what
one
you
was, hopefully the wastewater, but one was also, I think it was a material distribution center was one, which seemed pretty high for what it is. You can see it has they give it stars. It's got, some buildings are pretty good, pretty decent, some are pretty bad. Their natural gas usage is seems to be like a lot. It's also a distribution center, which garage doors that open in the middle of winter and you lose everything as well, but maybe there's other means how we can try to recapture something, change something to counter that, so.
Any other questions or discussion?
See, I'm trying to understand the purpose of this now. We're requesting for permission to submit this to the GreenStep Cities?
Yes.
And right now, the city has officially agreed to be a member of the GreenStep Cities, and we're not now recognized for that step 1.1. So this, or are we?
No.
And so will this?
We're not recognized for anything other than saying we want to be a member of this. Now, after that occurred, when the city council approved that resolution of being a GreenStep Cities member, now we go and, like we've talked about in past meetings, kind of finding out what we've already done, but also trying to figure out maybe what we want to do. So this is a step that I know we've done, and I've updated that to get it current. but it hasn't been submitted before because we never were a GreenStep City participant.
And now that we are submitting this, then we should be recognized for this.
That's the point of this, yes, it's to submit this information that I just presented and read to them to get recognized for this best practice number 1-1.
Yeah, so this will be the first ever now that we will have submitted.
Right, which is, if you remember, we're a category A, it's a needed action. So this is an action that we have to take. Same with, anything in yellow here. So yeah, this would be the first action, besides becoming a participant, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, when this report is received, will they be reviewing the data? And will they agree or could they agree or disagree about the amount of credit we can get?
I'm not sure what I'm getting,
Well,
credit as in,
just because we submit data, is that good enough that this is a green step?
correct, it is,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And there are some things they may be wanting more data, different
Yeah.
actions within here. Yeah, but no, sorry, for this particular one, no. We'll get credit for that,
Yeah,
even if for some reason we don't continue to do it, which is not the goal and the purpose.
right.
We still would get credit for it. Yeah, correct. Yep.
I'm confused on the chart. What is the dotted line, the black dotted line?
Oops, going the wrong way. That's the baseline. Based off of the type of building it is. So when I enter this data in, it asks what type of building it is. And they have, through their research, baselines of energy use for that type of building.
For all,
For buildings throughout the whole, so we're in Minnesota for, yeah. So in this case, looking at City Hall, and maybe it's different too because we have steam. There's not many places you're going to have steam.
Oh, sure.
But, which could be a reason why it's so low. Steam's an option, but it doesn't seem to be represented to me well in the graphs. But say, look at the Civic Center, how old is that now? I don't know. It's 20 years old, close to, or something. It's not a new building anymore, but it's not extremely old. There's some things here too, I think, since it was built to now, that we could revisit to get that place more energy efficient. So that baseline is based off of the gas and electric usage based on the building and the month. So it's taking a look at any other type of building like this, an ice arena, which is an option. So that's what that black line is. That's the baseline.
okay, that's the baseline, including the just the electric?
Well, it's electric and natural gas.
Okay, because you've got, on the colored buttons, you've got steam and,
Well, I'm sorry, I
here it
jumped
says-
to a different one. Are you still in City Hall?
Yeah.
I'm
Or
sorry.
no,
I
I'm
jumped
on
to a different building.
I'm on City Hall.
Yep. So City Hall, there's electric, natural gas, steam.
And steam, so that baseline is combining all those three for the baseline?
Yes.
Okay, and the numbers on the side are, I can't read what the,
It's also looking at not only particular, it's looking at CO2 emissions. So, that's where this trend line comes from also.
okay. And so what are the numbers on, the 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 8? What is that? What are those numbers?
The kilobeat used.
1,000, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The kilobeat used.
That's correct. Yep.
That's the measurement. So when we're below the baseline.
Electric and
that's
the
a good
gas,
thing. Yeah.
of the electric and the gas. So we want to be lower. So we're, like at City Hall, we're below their baseline, right?
Right.
Good thing.
Yep.
That's what was confusing to me.
Right, sorry, yeah. Yeah, it is confusing, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the different utilities within it and everything.
Yeah, so for us newbies here looking at this, that's a good thing. So as long as we're below the baseline, that helps us achieve these benchmark, 5 stars there for City Hall?
According to them, yeah. Which, I mean, the data I put in is directly off their utility bill. So,
Sure.
you know, actual usage. And, you know, and it's comparing, yeah, it's, you know, like you can compare months within this too. There's lots of different things you can do. These are just snapshots of what I happen to be doing and playing around with that particular day.
So after this report then is approved and submitted, will then we be then notified if GreenSteps will approve this?
Oh, yeah.
It's not automatic, but this will
No,
be-
they have to, yeah, they have to approve it. So they'll notify us, you know, one way or another, but
So hopefully by the next time we meet, we will have heard from them.
yeah, I mean, especially with some of these, not only am I submitting it, but I mean, they can probably go in and look,
Yeah.
to, you know, for proof. So it should be a pretty easy yes or no decision for them.
Yeah. But to me, this is kind of a big deal because this will be the first one that's submitted, and hopefully by the next meeting, it'll be the first one approved. Yeah.
Any further questions regarding the graph or the action or?
Okay, let's see. We need to make a motion to approve the best practice 1.1 for submittal. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Okay, I move we approve the GreenStep's best practice 1.1 for submittal.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the GreenStep Best Practice 1.1 for submittal. Any other questions or discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.2 is the Best Practice 1.2.
The next best practice that the city has already done over the last, you know, numerous years was make no low-cost indoor lighting and operational changes in city-owned buildings to reduce energy costs. And you can kind of, I won't read the whole implementation detail again, but it's showing savings and money savings and payback is kind of the summary. So, I mean, it's there. That's what's going to be submitted to GreenStep Cities. And below that with the attachments is an Excel spreadsheet. So I went back to 2018 going forward. I have all the locations of this is what I know of. There could be more, but this should be a good example for them of what we've done. And this is a spreadsheet that I would actually be using if somebody had, if I really needed to break down what the actual lighting was. You know, we had what happened in 2018. I know what the cost is, the cost to install. If it was a city-owned building, they were eligible for a rebate. Operating hours, that's just the average operating hours of that particular building. Then you get down into breaking out everything from, you know, like the old system, what the wattage was, and converting it to kilowatt, using the operating hours to find the kilowatt hours. So, you know, if you have any questions of that, I can, you know, definitely answer that. But it just proof showing, you know, all that savings and payback years of each of those facilities and that in particular lighting project.
So, and that describes the difference then between the old system and the new system is the lighting?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. Not necessarily for the whole building, for whatever, but for that particular section or rooms. You know, may not have been a whole building. It might have been different projects at different times. And this is the type of data that they're looking for to show that. So. And below are just some more graphs, of course, from the MNB3 benchmarking, just showing trends. And I think I was trying to capture some places that did some lighting and the trends from before and after of energy usage.
I remember being told that if something is important enough, you measure it. But sometimes you're in a situation where you can't really measure it. It's kind of neat to be able to see that you have the data in a way that you can measure it
Right.
between the old and the new. That's cool, I think.
So Derek, I can't quite make it out on here, but those percentages that are like in the top left in your pictures, is that the actual percentage change after the upgrades? Like for City Hall, I think it's like 24.
Yeah, they would be because you can
Okay.
you can slide it. I think 12 months I think is what they use, so you can slide that 12 months anywhere, and that number could change. So the farther back
Okay.
you go, it might be going up. It might get into the red.
Yeah, it'll
A lot
change
of
over
times you go
time.
more to the right depending on if they keep up with things and technology. It kind of goes down. So yeah, you're right. That would be
Okay.
yep.
Well, I move we approve the best practice 1.2 for submittal.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve best practice 1.2 for submittal. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.3, best practice 12.1, dealing with transportation.
So this has to do with biking and walking. And there's quite a bit of options here for the 12.1, and we meet more than one of the criteria. Increase walking, biking, and transit use by one or more of the following means. We have more than one, and as you can see, it's produce, distribute route maps, signage, or a website, document increased bike facilities such as bike racks, stations, showers, bus infrastructure, increased number of employees promoting multiple commuting options, including offering qualified transportation fringe benefits instead of only a tax-free parking fringe benefit, be recognized as a walk-friendly or bicycle-friendly community. So that's what the action is. You have to meet at least one of those or more. And so what I'm submitting and writing to them, the city of New Ulm has a 13-mile bike walk loop around the city. The paved recreation trail is marked by bike route and 1/2 mile markers, which also include benches along the way. Maps of the trail can also be obtained through the New Ulm Chamber of Commerce and Explore Minnesota web pages. The city of New Ulm has also included the bike trail on its website GIS portal that all can view. New Ulm has been a bronze bicycle-friendly community since 2017. It's not super long because the proof is in the documentation that's provided to them, which is in your agenda. This is taken off of, I think, the Chamber's website, but this is also available in the Explore Minnesota, their little bike section for people that are bicyclists and want to go to different communities. So the bike loop actually is that gold line or pretty much around the whole city. So that's one proof, and the other would be the last PDF, which is from the Bicycle Friendly Community website. Proof that we are a bike-friendly community. So that's our criteria that we can send to them to meet that best practice.
With just doing that, we've met number 12.
12.1. So
12.1.
complete at least 2 actions. So we've met pretty much this. Well, we've done 12.1. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So if we want to try to get, well, we have to. We have to do one of these other options under best practice number 12. Mobility options.
Do you know which one would make sense for us to do? Of the two.
Well, actually, there's, under that number 12, number 2, conduct an active living campaign, such as a Safe Routes to School program. That's already established. I just haven't dug that up fully.
So that would.
So one of these next times, I'll get that information and then we'll submit that. Then, we'll get this yellow, that will be completed, which is
Okay.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve BP 12.1 for submittal.
Second,
A motion and second to approve best practice 12.1 for submittal. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.4, some more GreenStep Cities discussion.
I thought of this as just a general discussion, if anybody had any ideas, or concerns, or if they've had a chance to go through this a little bit, and there's anything in that piqued the interest of anyone. If there's any comments. And there's one thing I thought of was if we need, as a group, if we needed to look for support or any additional ideas of just what the community is interested in, we can try to do, maybe just start with a small media campaign to try to reach out to the community and reintroduce to them that, this has started and we're in the process of doing this. Here this is. We'd love to hear your input and see what we get back for feedback. That was mine. I don't know if anyone else has any additional ideas or any thoughts on that. We don't want to branch out that far yet. If we want to try to hone in on what, get comfortable as a group with this first before we branch out.
yeah. One thing that was on my mind was about water conservation. I think we had talked about it a couple times before, or doesn't that fall within this?
Yeah, somewhere I think there's a few spots. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if the area's open for improvement, like with Park and Rec. I know that'd be an area I'd like to pursue, but I'm not sure how much.
You mean with like community, like watering less
Yeah.
as a community?
Yeah, or like with Park and Rec's use of water, and I'm not aware of all the steps that the city has already taken.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've seen things in here. I just don't recall what they were. There might have been something. Yeah, I don't want to be quoted because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's things in here that dealt with water.
Yeah.
What exactly? I don't. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't recall what it was.
Okay. And then your earlier comment, Derek, was relating to having a media campaign to solicit input from the community?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a campaign isn't the right word, but a blurb on the Facebook page or on the website.
Yeah.
Just if anybody has any thoughts or concerns, or maybe not concerns, but additional input they'd like the Energy Awareness Commission to know. Write us an email, give us a call type thing.
Yep. I think that'd be a good idea. I would bet with all what's been in the news lately here that there'd be some people starting to think, well, what can we do, or what would we like to see have done? Just a thought.
Yeah, I think that would also be a good idea.
When did you say I can't remember. I think it's Public Power Week.
Public Power Week,
When is that?
October 3rd through the 9th. It's always the first full week in October
Okay.
is Public Power Week.
Is there something going to happen? The one time we had hot dogs and everything else. Last
Yeah.
year it was just a drive-by. Do you know what's happening this year? I'm wondering if we could somehow have this at that.
You know, I'm getting the my newsletter, kind of trying to finish it up because we want to get it in the mailboxes during either right before Public Power Week or soon into it. You know, we could put a little corner in there of that kind of advertisements with their logo, and I think we might have a generic comments email or my email and phone number and kind of state what we just talked about and put it in the newsletter because it's public power, you know, focused. We could do that. As for Public Power Week, we'll probably do something. It's complicated with COVID, so we're going to do some kind of door prizes where people can submit their name and address and
But
that.
you don't think it's going to be people congregating?
No, we've already decided we're not going to do that. Unfortunately, but yeah.
Well, it probably wouldn't hurt in that newsletter to just let the people know that we are a green city.
Right. I mean, it's been in there, but I mean, you need to
Keep it up.
consistently do things for everybody to at least get a chance to
Right.
know it, acknowledge it.
And it's probably something, if there's a home show,
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's probably the best thing we could do. Acknowledge some things that we've done and what we're looking to do. We get a lot of feedback then, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could even maybe at the home show, if you could kind of have maybe a short survey, if you narrowed down some things that you specifically wanted, like public input on, you know, come up with some things and like, well, as a public, where would you like to prioritize?
Yeah.
Or
And
where
that-
would you like more information on what you can
Right.
do type
Yep.
thing?
Excellent.
And I think that's something just more as this maybe a city or utility we need to do more of. I just spoke to
Yeah.
another
Yep.
very large investor-owned utility, and they were talking to me about exactly that, doing more kind of research, getting stuff out to customers to get feedback from them. So, yeah. Is there anything else? No, we got a few items, so I mean that's.
I take it this needs to be, receive an order filed? Is that the next step?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I so moved that we receive an order filed, the ideas, opinions, and concerns regarding GreenStep Cities for approval.
Second.
Motion and second to receive and order filed or discussion on the GreenStep Cities. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Any other commissioner comments or questions? All right. With that, then, I guess I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second?
A motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.